Hey everyone, and welcome back to World Tour Weekly, your one-stop shop for all competitive Flesh and Blood news. This is a particularly exciting episode for me. Not only do we have some new cool compendium spoilers, but the meta is changing rapidly, Florian hit Living Legend, and I got to play in the Calling last weekend. Let's get into it. But first, this weekend went pretty well for me. We'll talk more about that later, but that means I have another gold foil legendary to open on the video. Obviously, I'm going to wait until the end of the video to open it to maximize viewer retention, so make sure that you stick around. Now, let's start with the fun stuff, spoilers. Most of what we've seen this spoiler season has been reprints. Very exciting reprints to be sure, but they're still not new cards. That changed as we got a look at some interesting cards from the new Armory deck featuring the upcoming warrior, Hala, Blade Saint of the Vow. It's been a little bit since her initial reveal, so let's go over Hala really quick and make sure that we're on the same page about what her ability does. Hala says you can pay 3 resources and tap her to sharpen target sword you control. This puts a +1 counter on it, but you remove all +1 counters from it at the end of the turn. Obviously, on its own, this is not a super powerful ability. 3 resources for 1 damage isn't exactly where you want to be. But when we look at the new spoilers, it becomes a bit obvious that sharpening is part of a theme for the deck. Starting off with Zenith Blade, Hala's specialization. You can pay 1 resource to attack for 3, and if it's been sharpened this turn, its first attack gains go again. Pretty powerful ability, especially if we have more cost-efficient ways to sharpen in the deck. And when you look at that, Edict of Steel gives us exactly what we're looking for. This 0-cost red 3-block action says sharpen target sword you control. If it has 1 or more +1 counters, which it will from the sharpening, create a flurry token, go again. Flurry tokens are also new, and they say when you activate a weapon, destroy this token and you may attack with that weapon twice this turn. This seems to operate pretty similar to like a quicken token, which is really nice because if you have to take a turn off swinging your weapon to either block out or just send an attack action, it doesn't just go away like an agility token would. This offers you a bit more flexibility on your turn-by-turn decisions. Now, for some reason when I was writing the script, I was thinking this is like a specialization or something, but it's not. Other warriors can play this. It seems like a pretty incredibly powerful card for Raiden Bolton to be playing, for example. Bolton's hero ability already gives him access to easy go again. All he has to do is charge, and Raiden comes in for 4 twice with this card. Fun fact, Max Ferocity cosplayed as Hala in New Zealand 2 years ago and made a custom sword for the cosplay that she named Zenith Blade. Apparently, she asked James White if he would make her a hero someday, and he said he would and promised that Zenith Blade would be there with her. I just thought that was like a super neat story and I wanted to share it. That's not all for our reveals though. We also got more Fable reprints with Riches of Tropeldani and Heart of Fendal getting the Antiquities treatment. This new Heart of Fendal is absolutely gorgeous, and I might be looking to switch in my old Rainbow Foil one. Speaking of pretty cards, check out the Release Celebration promo. It's a new version of Pursuit of Knowledge, which has one of my favorite arts in the game. But that's enough about new cards. Let's talk tournaments in today's Metagame Minute. I mentioned in last week's video that I've been pretty bullish on Accelio for a while now, and I decided to finally put my money where my mouth is and pilot the Lightning Wizard at Calling Columbus. This went pretty well, considering I was the first seed going into top 8 of the tournament. Unfortunately for me and Accelio fans everywhere, I was dispatched in the semifinals by the eventual Calling winner, but the deck felt incredibly good, and obviously I was really happy with the run. It does seem like players are more and more prepared to combat Accelio though. I played against a lot of Amulet of Echoes in the field, but the deck is still super powerful. If you're looking for a fun new deck to try out, I highly recommend playing him. He's probably one of the most fun Flesh and Blood decks I've ever played. We'll talk more about him in a second though. Let's look at the metagame breakdown for Calling Columbus. Arachne Marionette, Gravy Bones, and Florian were the most popular decks in the field. Not incredibly surprising considering how well these decks have been doing lately. After them with a bit of a drop-off is Accelio, Kasai, OG KO, and Syndra Drakai of Retribution. Big surprises are KO Underhanded Cheat moving up in players and Verdant's way down with only 12 out of 318 total. But when we move over to the conversion rates, that's where we get the big stories of the event. Marionette, Accelio, Gravy Bones, and Pleiades. Yes, Pleiades absolutely smashed this tournament. This new Fatigue Pleiades list kind of came out of nowhere and absolutely took the event by storm. It ended up putting 2 copies in the top 8, making it the first breakout event for the Super Slam hero. If you have Road to Nationals events coming up this weekend, I would expect to see this deck. Now, in my opinion, one of the biggest surprises of the event is that a grand total of 0 copies of Verdance made the cut into day 2. We'll get there in a minute, but she once again had a strong RTN showing while falling flat in the larger events. I also wanted to point out that Fang had a very strong conversion rate as well, with 33% of players moving on. When we look at the top 8, you'll see that we had 2 Accelio, the 2 Pleiades that I mentioned earlier, 1 Florian, 1 Katsu, 1 Marionette, and 1 Gravy Bones. Yep, that's right, I said Katsu the Wanderer made top 8 of a calling in 2026. Florian did win the event in the hands of our reigning world champion, and combined with the points the Runeblade gained from this week's Road to Nationals events, he has officially hit Living Legend and will be retired from the classic constructed format. Now, let's talk about what this actually means for the format. Most mid-rangey decks get a pretty large bump. This would be heroes like Marionette, KO, and most of the warriors. Florian did a pretty good job out mid-ranging any other deck that wants to not go fast but not go slow. His incredible suite of armor plus pretty unbeatable value in cards like Felling of the Crown and Plow Under made it very difficult for decks that want to play fair to keep up with him. Gravy and Accelio lose one of their best matchups, and in Accelio's case, his natural predator KO Armed and Dangerous gets a boost as well. This could be a bit of a double whammy for the Lightning Wizard, but I'm going to be honest with you, I think he's going to be fine. Now, it is possible that Florian hitting Living Legend leads to sort of a domino effect of the other top heroes in the meta. Pulling up the Living Legend leaderboard, KO Armed and Dangerous is 1 or 2 good weeks away from leaving. Remember that he gets the 1.5 Living Legend point multiplier now. Verdance is continuing to march forward with her strong RTN results, and if KO leaves, Prism could see a large surge in wins as well, and she's also under the 1.5 LL points multiplier. I do think we will see KO Armed and Dangerous leave the format in the next month or so, but I don't expect to see any other heroes leave, at least until Compendium releases. I've been talking about the RTN results a lot, so let's pull those up and see what they look like for this week. Rosetta heroes are on an absolutely insane run, with Florian having 15% of the wins and the 2 Rosetta Wizards right behind him with 10% each. Our regulars are all closely behind them, but I'm constantly surprised that Gravy Bones isn't getting more wins at the local level. He seems to have the opposite problem as Verdance, where she does well at local events and poorly at the larger ones. Gravy Bones does great at callings and can't seem to convert as well at the RTNs. Obviously, we're going to see some pretty big changes with the upcoming weeks because the Earth Runeblade is going to be gone. My personal guess is that Arachne Marionette will take the throne as the winningest deck for this weekend's RTN results. But let me know what you think in the comments. Alright, that's enough about the meta. Let's talk champions in today's weekend winners. Calling Columbus was Florian's last ride as world champion Michael Yasker took down the event. At the Silver Age Battle-hardened Jonathan Michaud piloted Briar to a first place finish. Congratulations once again to our weekend winners. Alright, and now for the moment that I've been waiting for, because I've been dying to know what my gold foil is for the past few days. Once again, I am praying to open Stormstriders, and I'm just gonna have to keep winning events until I finally do open them. But I'm pretty happy with anything that's either played or something that goes into one of my decks. Okay, let's see what I get. Alright. Please be a card I've heard of. Here we go. This is always a little nerve-wracking. Okay, as always, I'm going to open it and show it to you, so I'll see it at the same time you do. Ready? 1, 2, 3. No way! Dragon Scalar Flight Path? Hold on. It's literally the last gold foil I opened was Dragon Scalar Flight Path. I'm starting a collection. I have one for each foot now. I think that's good. I'm not really sure, but it is really funny. All right, and with that taken care of, let's talk about what's coming up in the world of Flesh and Blood. Road to Nationals is still going on for another couple of weeks, so make sure to get out there and fight for your spot. We also have Battle-hardened Charleroi and Portland coming up this weekend, featuring the now Florian-less classic constructed format. That's all I got for this episode. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Majiin, and I'll see you next time on World Tour Weekly.